we're in Canada because...
A boot! Not a boot. Sorry.
Hey, welcome back to Trail Trash Garage. We are on the 1500 project today. So, just an update. The radio aux fix, or whatever you call it, modification, it didn't work. The rear speakers are toast. They're destroyed. You can kind of see the corrosion here on the front speaker. The weather has gotten at it. We're gonna have to go another direction there. And I think I'll have that in later videos depending on how it comes out. We're not gonna talk any more about it now. I'm gonna put everything back together on the bike once I get the other wiring sorted, and we'll deal with the radio issue a separate time. So what are we doing today? Well, we're trying to wire up lights, and I just wanted to turn the camera on to show you kind of what we're dealing with here. So hold on, I'm gonna be moving you, okay? So we come in here, we see that we have lights here and on the other side, and those basically, well, that piece stays here. The light bulbs go in there. Now, those lights are what we call cornering lights. So when you put the turn signal on, they're supposed to come on steady. Now, a lot of the older bikes, the 88s and whatnot, the lower trim models didn't have them. They were just plain glass, or there was just like colored panel spacers in there. But they were an upgrade option that a lot of people picked, and obviously somebody did pick that option, or at some point somebody did put this in here. And I don't know if this is factory, but this, well, it looks like somebody riveted this stuff in here, so that doesn't look factory to me to keep those lights in there. So I don't know. And the other thing is they didn't wire them in right. Like, you've got all this wiring, like this. Like, what is that? So, but if you look at the wiring diagrams, there's the hookup. So the bikes were wired for them. There's that one, and here's the one for this side, right? So the bikes were wired, and instead of using the factory wiring harness to put these in, whoever installed these lights didn't. We're gonna try to fix that. Now, there was on the panel over here, so there's these switches that we weren't sure what they went to. Then there's like this one here, and then there's this one here. I don't know what any of that stuff went to. So we're gonna take it out of this panel and try to repair the holes in the panel. But I found out what some of them went to, because there is accent lighting here. Boom, that shines down, and that goes to one of these switches. So that's disconnected at this point. There was also a heater. So I pulled that out. Anyway, it was a connection for heated gear. Maybe it's down there. I don't know. Or maybe it's up here. I got chunks of wiring laying everywhere. So the speakers I had off because this needed to be fixed. It was bent in a little bit from the side impact. And I wanted to test those speakers, and they are totally toast. There's not much left of them. The water just gets down in there, and it really does a job on these rear speakers. So there's your rear talk. The problem with replacing the radio, as we discussed in here, is the fact that it's integrated into the intercom system, but it doesn't look like Dave uses the intercom system. So they don't have the J&M headsets, so the CB is pretty much non-functional in this bike. So I don't think we're going to worry too much about the stock radio system at this point. I think his main source of music is going to be Bluetooth. So again, we'll talk about that in a future episode. So basically the job now, get all the dash parts back on, get all the plastic back on after we solve these lights and these lights. We're going to wire them in the way they're supposed to wire in, but these are all going to get replaced with waterproof switches to begin, like in the end. So, but for now, that they can be fine as a placeholder. And we're going to get all of the mirrors and everything back in together, and we're going to get this bike back together so in a rideable state. So right now we've got the rear saddlebags back on. We have the exhaust pipes are fixed. We have rear differential fluid changed and the rear pumpkin cleaned up. We've got the rear brakes bled with new fluid. We still have to do the front brakes. We're going to do those next. I had the front tire off and I checked pads. The front pads are getting down a little bit, but there's still enough life in them for now. The discs are getting a little worn, grooved. Just the front ones are just like the rear. They're not as bad as the rear, but they're going to need to be replaced at some point down the line. And then it's just going to be cosmetics, cleaning up this plastic a little bit, fixing some broken tabs. all that sorts of stuff, and then cleaning the bike up to get it going. And then we're going to leave it for now. That'll be it. We'll address the radio issue again later. I've got some parts coming for an experiment that we'll see. So it's going to be front brake fluid, getting all the parts back together, getting the wiring, those auxiliary lights wired up properly and sealed up, and the right connectors and all that done. And then we'll get the bike back together and rideable and make sure everything tests and everything works, except the radio, of course. And then we'll schedule a few things. I think he wants to add some more colored lighting, accent lighting, and a few other jobs that we're going to do on this bike. I'm not going to film putting everything back. This is an instructional video on how to take plastics or remove plastics or replace plastics on it in a GL1500. It's just basically an overview of what we're doing to the motorcycle to get this back to the owner, okay? So I'll bring it back for an update. I'm losing battery. I'll update you as we go. So for Trail Trash Garage, check us out in the next video. You know we're in Canada because...
A boot! That's a boot. Sorry.